So there's jnana is both understanding what we are and what we're not, and what the difference is between them, the eternal and the non-eternal, the true and real and the ultimately unreal, or at least the temporary. 17. That which pervades this entire world is indestructible. The life, that which animates the universe, the trees, everything, wherever there's life, there's Atman, according to these yoga traditions. No one is able to destroy what is imperishable. The soul can never be destroyed. Going on, so this is all jnana yoga. Okay, that essentially the teachings of Vedanta, that Vedanta sets out to reveal, to sort of interpret, to transmit by means of exegesis of the Vedanta. Nyaya seeks to demonstrate by reason. Here we see that sort of being applied into a yoga text where Krishna is encouraging Arjuna, and of course to Arjuna, the rest of the world, to take up yoga. So, first jnana. So, verse 18. These bodies, it's the bodies of the eternal, indestructible, and undefinable soul are said to possess an end. Only the bodies come to an end. So, fight. Do your dharma. Skip. 20. The soul is never born, nor does it ever die, nor having once been does it ever cease to be. So, just rephrasing the fact that it's eternal. It's unborn, it's eternal. And everlasting, all just synonyms, trying to sort of punch the message home. This ancient one is not killed when the body is killed. So, Partha, verse 21, how can a person who knows the soul to be indestructible, eternal, unborn, and imperishable, if you really knew that, how can such a person kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? You understand, the soul is eternal. You have to do your duty in the world. Death comes to everybody at some point. And therefore, one should continue to do one's duty, despite the inevitable looming of death. Another metaphor in 22. As a person gives up an old garment and puts on one that is new, it's just changing garments, similarly, the soul gives up the material body and accepts a body that is new. It's reincarnation. It's just a change of body. So he goes on and on. It's just sort of hammering away the same point, that the soul is eternal. Weapons can never, verse 23, weapons can never cut the soul, fire cannot scorch it, waters can't moisten it, nor can the wind dry it. None of the elements can affect the soul, which is partless, and it's subtler than everything, so nothing can penetrate it. And because it is subtler than everything. And it has no parts, so there's no parts that can be separated and broken apart by any element or any other means. It can never be, 24, can never be divided or burned. It is insoluble, inextinguishable, can't drown it, can't sort of waterlog it. It's eternal, all-pervading, fixed. It's unshakable, and it's everlasting. It is unmanifest. It can't be perceived by the senses or experienced by the mind. Grahya. It is agrahya. It cannot be grasped. It's inconceivable. I mean, you can conceive of it in a sort of sense that you can infer, like Nyaya does. You can conceive that there must be, but you can't grasp it with the mind. That's what's meant there. It's unchangeable, never changes, because if something is eternal, it can't change. This is all 25. Knowing all this, you shouldn't grieve. So then, and then he says, well, and even if you think that the soul is constantly born, then he sort of presents a purvapaksha. We're familiar with the purvapaksha, right? So 26. All right, let's go with the purvapaksha, says Krishna. If you think that the soul is constantly born and constantly dies, right, imagine someone could say, okay, maybe the soul isn't the body, but what if maybe it's separate from the body, but maybe it's just born with the body and dies with the body, in which case it's irrelevant if it's separate from the body or not, if it's born and dies with the body. So Krishna says, even if you think that, then you should not grieve. Why? 27, because death is certain for one who's been born, and birth is certain for one who has died. So why should you grieve for what is inevitable? What's the point in grieving for something that's just nature, right? Trees grow, leaves fall. We don't cry about that, so therefore one should not cry about the inevitable. That's the point. Verse 28, a living being is unmanifest in the beginning, right? You don't see the soul coming into the body, so it's unmanifest in that sense. Then it takes birth, it becomes manifest, it animates the body. And it becomes unmanifest at the end. Right? Whether you believe that there's a soul that's transmigrating through those changes or not, why should you grieve about this? It's the inevitable.